Hello, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Megan, for those of you who haven't been here before, and I'm glad that you're watching this. So today I'm going to be sharing a tip that has been very helpful for me. It is what diet I abide by, and currently that is a low histamine diet. The reason I'm following this is because I suspect that I have MCAS. If you don't know what MCAS is, it is mast cell activation syndrome. To be clear, I have not been diagnosed with MCAS. I just suspect that I have it, but if I do, it's likely secondary to the instability. So if you suspect that you have MCAS or have MCAS, this is what's been helpful for me, and I hope it'll be helpful for you as well. All right, so why I even started this, or even suspected I have MCAS, if you're curious, if you're along a similar journey. I had a lot of the symptoms associated with it. First thing I noticed was I was having a lot of allergic reactions into random things. The most significant of my allergic reactions were to insect bites. I was getting them while hiking or just outside, and when I would get an insect bite, it would swell just substantially. They'd be really itchy, even to the point that they were painful. So over the years, I've gotten insect bites and gone to the emergency room actually for them, but just kind of disregarded it, and as they went away. But the more that I've had quote unquote MCAS like flares, the more that I will have these allergic type reactions. So it's all pointing to the likelihood of MCAS, and it pointed to me benefiting from following MCAS interventions. And other things that I noticed were I would break out in hives randomly. I'd have really bad swelling. I started getting itchy skin and infected acne after eating things that were high in histamines, which you're suggested not to do if you have MCAS. And that's actually what I'm going to be sharing, is the low histamine diet that I abide by. But I was also just like, not even on my face, my arms and my legs would get really itchy, sometimes with rashes, sometimes without. Randomly, this stuck out to me the most. So I have a lot of moles, like on my hand here and just all over. And when I have these MCAS like flares, my moles will get red and swollen, and they'll itch really badly. And even if I don't itch them, they'll still be red and swollen, and they'll scab. And then sometimes they would just fall off, which is unusual. Other symptoms I've experienced were shortness of breath while just walking up the stairs, and I have decent cardio, so this is abnormal, and that's also consistent with MCAS. I started during these flares having horrible nausea, especially in the morning, which I was confused by, and I started vomiting. This is unusual for me because I've only vomited 3 times in my life. I vomited in kindergarten once when I had the flu, and then I hadn't since. And all of a sudden, while I was having these MCAS-like flares, I was dry heaving, getting nauseous, and vomiting. And so I knew something was unusual, and I hadn't changed any of my diet or external stimuli that I was aware of. There wasn't anything drastic. So for all of these reasons, I assumed even more that I likely had MCAS, considering that a lot of people with cervical instability additionally have MCAS. So I opted to so if some of you guys are curious, I opted to not undergo all of the diagnostic process of MCAS because I believe it's secondary to cervical instability. I didn't want to get a biopsy or a spinal tap because I didn't want any more just invasive procedures on my body. because of how sensitive and prone to flares I am. I didn't think it would be long-term beneficial, and it wouldn't change, at least for the time being, what I would do if I did have MCAS, which is follow this low histamine diet. So first and foremost, before I started following the diet, I would take Benadryl a couple times a day, and it really helped. But I didn't want to be taking Benadryl every day, so I started following the low histamine diet, and when I did, lo and behold, almost all of it went away. I don't follow it 100%, but just even adjusting some things has drastically benefited me. All right, so I'm going to link in the description this document right here. It's a hefty one. It's like 16 pages long. And how it works is, if you guys can see this box right here, basically it's a scale. Oh, sorry, my phone dropped. I'm gonna have to repop it up. But basically it's just a scale that ranks foods in their histamine level. So if it has a green 0 next to it, you're free to eat it. It won't affect you. A 1 is a little iffy, and then 2 and 3 are the higher histamine foods. So it was, for me, I realized a lot of foods I was eating prior to abiding by this were very high in histamines, and it was the most random of things. To give you guys some examples, I was eating bananas every day. I was eating avocados, eggs, mushrooms, spinach, and balsamic vinegar, and those are just a couple things, and they are all like 2s and 3s on the histamine scale. So if you suspect you have MCAS or have MCAS, I would take a look at this, because there might be some things that are really random that are high in histamine. It's been really helpful for me, and so I hope it'll be helpful for you. I will link it in the description in the YouTube video. All right, guys, I will upload another video tomorrow.